totally amazing. And she began her spoken word career at the age of 15 when she made the 2007 Urban Word Slam team. Her slam team competed at Brave New Voices, which is an awesome venue. If you ever have a chance, maybe some of you have, to go out and check out the talent in the country. I think they was it at San Francisco this last year, Marnie? Yeah, amazing talent. Placing third in the final stage out of 40 teams. Since 2007, Marnie has, she placed third in the Knicks Poetry Slam, winning scholarship money and prizes. 17, she wrote her one-woman show entitled The Insides Ain't Pink Enough, and she's performed it in collaboration with a dance theater workshop in New York City. She's the proud recipient of a first-wave scholarship to the University of Wisconsin. She was part of the 2010 UW-Madison CUPSI team, which took first-place championship in Boston, and she has performed in and around all the greater New York City area with features and gigs at the Nuyorican Poets Café, a place I've always wanted to go to, the Bowery, Winter Gardens with Cocoa Rosie, Queen Godis Video Release, BAM, The Point, Hammerstein Ballroom, Malcolm X and Dr. Betty D. Shabazz Memorial Education Center, and a whole lot of other amazing places that make me feel pretty excited that she's here tonight gracing us. So please give a hand with these fine activated instruments we all hold for Marne Bruckner.
As kids, we were told to put on our thinking caps. Mine, it never came off. One of those young girls who use excessive gel as if to glue it down, and yet little boys remove theirs in order to replace it with fitteds and shape-ups, imaginations being fondled with by the firm grip of capitalism. It's something that makes our founding fathers slave owners with their signatures on the proclamation. That makes them racists and rapists at the very same time, that makes us bastards. That is why none of us are 2% of what we claim to be. That is the only difference that gives us percentage in skin tone or ringtones, where you could pick how others will hear their pre-assumptions about you. If it's hip-hop or rock, either way we are classified into genres, using iPods to shuffle through our heartbeats. We shoot for places with no oxygen, no gravity, because rules are what we spend our innocence breaking and our maturity creating, just so that we could better fit in these boxes, which we should recycle, so that we can paper mache our faces and mummify our souls, because everlasting doesn't fit in a casket full of bones. And with that, we learned of primary colors in kindergarten. And I never really believed yellow was yellow, never wanted to scribble it in the traced out sunflower. I always wanted to color my roses brown and my sun's pink, and the teacher said I was wrong. As if there is a standard way to evaluate the way in which I calculate my thoughts, I bear witness to their use of Minecraft, keeping me in this box which I wish to burn so its ashes could resurrect and create paper art origami birds that fly away from it all, with not age or maturity to be amongst its atmosphere, only wisdom which comes with not growth but understanding, and old souls reborn so that they could find their light and pass it on to the ones who drag their feet in this world, going as zombie to the repetitive beats of society. Beatnik, yippee. They rather you turn yuppie than remember the year that rocked the world, rock cardigans and polos, maybe so that Marco could better find himself. In Havana, they spoke of Che, sending messages to a martyr in not so foreign tongue. They say youth will intone the chants of mourning to the chatter of machine guns and cries of war, until victory, forever, here, wherever we claim to be, next to dirty pigeons and crooked crows in America. The only thing patriotic anymore is Pamela Anderson, decorating her body in Christmas ornaments. A plastic woman is appealing, maybe if it's Barbie, but even then that just makes us toy soldiers. Brainless trinkets for toddlers who know no better than to be indoctrinated by gender-ruling society and our white bread. So is it that this country is made of color, like the red, that hovers over stunned nostrils and out of saggy assets. This is how we were taught to wear our jeans blue, flags that never cared from you but still hang from left pocket where they'd love to lock low in white. Walls in the psychiatric ward don't look much different than that of a straitjacket or jail cell where we become ageless. Flexing devious smiles across our faces, wrinkles be the witness to what life has gave us, and they tried to wipe me down. Ring me out. Ring the alarm. School has been long over for those of us trying to major in world peace. Scott Walker. They say our nonsense has caused more havoc. Nonetheless, we still have yet to pay our dues. And morning is still arising in some man's bedroom, wood still ripening on the evergreen tree, grass still moist with its own sexuality. I am still young, but not untouched. My back is furnished with scoliosis from trying to hold up too much excess weight, that of the universe which our elders forgot to subsidize. 'Cause us women, we be Mother Earth, but they make men God. I guess time is of the essence to prove the predictions made in the past about our future wrong. How's everybody doing? Everybody hear me? So this next piece tonight I'm gonna dedicate. Well, it is dedicated to my father. I'm especially dedicated to him tonight because he just got a job, and he hasn't had a job for a while. And that's kind of what, There has been this salt, absorbing the pool of my memories lately, sluggish and squirming against time, gums held like elastic against a mouth, crooked and indecisive, men asking me to smile. But there's children in these teeth that grind and clasp together. The steel chains on the swing set are moving again. Greaseless, legs straight, knees knocking against wind, whiplash grasping dead end of hair long and overflowing with volume. I am forgetting how to scream. Fire and daisies wilting in the garden, tumbleweed and whispers scratching their way through my rib cage. They called it breathtaking. The way one's heart sounds at the sight of birth, drags at the thought of old age. My father got a speeding ticket last night. Rear view mirror flashing red and blue, hands on the wheel, mind youthful, illusions cannot pay for stress levels rising. He will slump further into his worn, rough cushion of a seat and imagine he's swinging. Daring and distant, ask him if there's a speed limit to his age and he will give you music made of skin and snores, glasses on the bridge of his nose foggy, his face a rotting worry. I had to remind him to smile the other day. His happiness becoming clotted in the thick of his throat, speechless. He remembers the significance to every neighborhood. As the car peels past foliage and concrete, my friend called it the white man syndrome, always playing Columbus as if his footprints were encased in quicksand and arched foot on the pedal burning gas, tiresome. I did not grow up here. In between awkward and the bone of your arms, eyes red with confliction, I see the wind has been beating you up again, trying to push you towards the right future, so ask me to smile. There's puzzle pieces within these lips, red and submissive, got chandeliers for tears in these hands. These 12-year-old hands, unsure of the difference between man and father, boy and cooties. You sit comfortably. My legs are not crossed. Nail polish red and chipping, eyes blue and flickering through memories. You laugh nervous, I sweat calmly. Together both sinking in the quicksand cushions below us. I close my eyes and see black, in hopes that you will forget that I'm here, so that I won't have to remember. Okay, so so for this next piece, well, if you haven't already, for all of our poems, definitely be using your imagination because I know it's a lot of words. But for this next piece, really, I want everybody here to really try and imagine that you're in this diner with me. Like dead flies making shadow puppets across the ceilings of roadside diners, he coughs up dust. Words too far swallowed to be turned into anything but mumbles and gibberish. I miss you. Even though you're sitting right in front of me on that all too familiar crimson and sparkling leather booth, eyes peering sideways out of their sockets, looking just beyond the blurred napkin dispenser and Heinz 57 ketchup, and I know you see nothing but highway and farm. Outside of the cracked window, through the luminescent blind, sun behind clouds, and I know you miss me too, for the sake of Sunday, and how we always used to ruin our frilly lace dresses, hands all floured in dirt. There's a stain on your shirt. And I can tell you haven't grown much, the edge of your crown all cowlicked and uncut, shoulders sinking into your heartbeat slouched. Remember how Mama used to tell us to sit upright, told us we'd have bumps for backs like the gray-haired women on 12th Street. We'd giggle and call them hunchback as if Disney movies had trained our sense of creativity. You remember that? Eggs over easy. You've got a lot on your plate. The waitress will bring us the bill only after we have touched our food, but you've got no appetite, and I'm not fond of eating in front of others, so we sit. Napkins covering our private parts, feet pigeon-toed. You forgetting my smile, forgetting that you even ordered, taking a swig of water every now and then. I can tell your brain has failed you. Say it's no different than dust and over-easy eggs. Say it's like a dead car battery all oilless and coughing. The doctor says all you've been doing is counting. The number of flies that get stuck to the gooey stickers that hang from the ceilings, and I ask if you've made it to 57 yet. You smile a wrinkle, and for once your eyes look human again. You made me miss the inside to your exterior, the one that used to remember 365 fun facts for each day of the year, as if you watched the Discovery Channel nonstop and actually listened to what your teachers said. Well, I was all Charlie Brown, in one ear and out the other. Seems you've been hearing things that way too nowadays. Or not hearing things at all. Do you miss me? No response. But your somberly slow gestures are answers enough to my undetailed demanding questions. I still remember when we spoke the same language. But now I've learned how beautiful the splintering of your silence is. It could be over easy. Thank you. This next piece is dedicated to a friend of mine back in New York, and yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. When I first met him, he was too busy spinning master webs out of his abdomen, 6 silk strands stapled to his gut, extending his wingspan of arms for seconds at a time like awakening eyelids still blinking at the thought of daylight. Nostrils high-strung and laughing at themselves, too infatuated with the weaving of white lines to notice it. He had this smile, as devious as a crescent moon, liquid diamonds dribbling down his neck, lost in fantasies and fondling with girlies who never messed with anything smaller than his package, packed into the same stereotypes of his skin, holding his breath in, just trying to make it past 25, frail body frame, all smothered in black suit and yet naked. He was always gyrating webs, fingertips wet with spit and venom, playing connect the dots and grappling with extinction, fatality the color of blushing bosoms after dark, the spirit of confetti and how it seems to stay on the ground for weeks after the life of the party has long since vanished, awaiting revival. Ancestry gave us names to fulfill our losses. But he forfeited his forename to rap of glamorous things. Daddy's still in plastic box like action figures. To his action figure, he got life in captivity. So son lived vicariously, weaving around statistics and yet sterile. Sometimes, Spider-Man needed a costume to better fit in or stand out. Fixated with material, all sticky and stylish, nestling in a net of insecurities, hidden with this glitter and gluttony. And sometimes, spiders eat their partners after relations wilt. I figure that's why his hugs often felt like concave gulps, brittle bones splintering with impulse, a little boy with eczema, loving with his eyes half open, or claiming not to love at all. Brick-like heart, all cracks and burgundy, sweatpants baggy below his skin, becoming soggy to his navel. Dudes did not have hips, but they'd hold them, trying to feel no strings attached. But this boy was busy spindling these wings through these threads. He told me that holding the moon in one hand, testosterone in the other, felt nothing like ego. More so like the tightening of a tie against the crying Adam's apple right before your grandmother's funeral. Two-handed, gripping, clogging a dream catcher across your throat, manipulating pail across his grandmother's last words. The only woman his memory could ever tie down. Thank you. So this last piece that I'm gonna do, actually, yeah, am I good on time? Okay. This last piece I'm gonna do is something that I actually did in the CUPSI Slam that we won the championship for the school with. So I want to share that with you guys. The women in my bloodline have skin like straitjackets. White and only semi-sane, veins like caterpillars inching their way through schizophrenic heartbeats that sit in the dark of our possessed chests. Like my mother, Nancy, sitting on the edge of our living room couch, lights off, drinking bronze liquor as if contemplating death, steady hand and open mouth, lights off. I always wondered why she would bathe in shadows, too afraid to see her own silhouette, as if your mirrors turned upside down, as if your image was not constant. Our home was like a funhouse. Distorted reflections, exhilarated nerves, impaired gravity, lights off. We had to learn how to hold on to our wind chime lungs long enough to know what suffocation meant, what diction felt like next to stutters, curse words visible in every blemish like branded jeans, psycho bitch. I wonder how many times my mother crawled the walls, jumped off of roofs, out of windows, cradled self into corners, crying, lights off, rocking to the inflection of out loud mumbles. We talk to ourselves a lot. Maybe because there are too many selves in our heads to listen to in unison. Left brain twitch, logically binding problems together, attempting to solve the scars of her lifeline, blinking to the rhythm of her thought pattern. Blink, twitch, blink. My mother is a sleepwalker. Right brain twitch. They say there's a pattern to every problem. My mother has been stitching this in a blanket for me, crocheting the problems of her past together, visible, invisible. Lights off. I tried hiding in the dark so Nancy's hands couldn't find me. She wasn't my mother when she hit her second personality. My mother had 9 lives, her children born in the 8th, infinity in her womb. Her third child a girl, 3 is my favorite number. Lights on. January 1956. In between frostbitten fingers and the unknown, she was put up for adoption. Paranoid schizo, psycho bitch, failure to her kids, my maternal grandmother. Sentenced, blood-clotted brain sentenced into the institution, mental. They say it's all mental. Like willpower and intuition, dancing pirouettes, mentally. Lights off. The first and only time I met the real you, you were sitting there staring into space as if my mother, your daughter, and her 3 children, your 3rd generation, were translucent. Half smiling, drool glistening down the side of your cheek, ill. No wonder fluorescent lights make me dizzy. The women in my bloodline have spent Too many hours in mental institutions, glazed eyes searching for a christening, doctors inspecting them, albino moth women fluttering broken, just trying to set themselves straight, celestial navigation gone wrong. Too afraid to turn the lights on and reveal a mask with indecisive emotions, a fluorescent body conflicted and flickering, hanging onto the ceilings of institutions, arms bandaged in straitjackets. Nancy. I wonder what your birth mother would have named you if she wasn't so busy scratching yellow walls. Thank you.